Okay, Frank Dux is a fake. He's a phony. He's a phony who's never done any of this stuff. He's a phony who showed me a Medal of Honor.
Hey guys, I recently did a live discussion with Sheldon Lettich, and there was an audience Q&A. It was really cool. You guys could watch the full thing. It's about an hour and 45 minutes. It's under the live tab on the YouTube page. But anyway, there's some really good stuff there, and I thought I'd break it up in a couple different smaller videos. You know the audience was going to ask Sheldon about Frank Dux, so I compiled all of the comments related to Frank. I think Sheldon just wanted to get all this stuff off of his chest once and for all, and it was kind of entertaining, to be honest. So it is what it is. But anyway, these are his thoughts, raw and unfiltered. Here's a question, or not a question, but a comment.
Yeah, now this guy's been harassing me for the longest time on your YouTube pages.
Has he?
Okay? And Antonio, I know you got a different real name, but this is complete bullshit about you said he is scared. You're talking about Paco. Paco is scared of the Mexican government and the cartel. Bullshit. No way at all. And I've been to Mexico. I've been to Mexico City with Paco. Paco's got a lot of connections down there. If anything, the Mexican government would be scared of Paco with the people that he knows down there.
Wow, no, he's definitely a badass.
Politicians, and Paco is a super badass also. And Paco did not fight besides Frank Dux in the Kumite.
Paco was Mexico's Kumite champion. What's he saying that there's no evidence of Kumite? Paco sat down with me and him. So, oh yeah, man, I watched Frank fight. Oh yeah, man.
Paco actually seen you fighting in Mexico?
Yeah, he's seen me fighting, man. He not only that, we almost ended up fighting each other. He told Sheldon that over dinner, well, many times over dinner when we were filming the movie.
Did not happen. Okay, Paco has tried to be nice to Frank. He's tried to be friendly with him. He's tried not to contradict him in public and make him seem like he's a liar. Okay, so he's gone along with the story a few times. But I've known Paco since way before. Frank never met Paco until I hired Paco to be in Lionheart. Paco was introduced to me by a friend of my wife, whose name is Stephanie Golden Falcon. And Stephanie ended up working on Firefight as well. Okay, Stephanie is the one who said, "Oh, you got to meet my friend Paco." So she introduced me to Paco, and that's how Paco got hired to work on Lionheart. Frank had never met him before. He only met him on Lionheart, and then ended up using him to do some seminars. Because Frank really doesn't know all that much martial arts, and he would hire guys like Paco to work with him to actually do the training. So Paco went along with him a few times to like the East Coast. I know they did some seminars on the East Coast, but no, don't try to tell me that Paco fought in the Kumite in Mexico with you, because it simply did not happen. All right, you did not know Paco until he was introduced to you by me and Stephanie Golden Falcon on Lionheart, and you'd never met him before then. Okay, and he did not participate in any Kumites. Paco's basically a street fighter. He's a badass street fighter. I've heard tales from friends of his. I've been to Mexico with him. I know his wife really well, and his wife will back up the stories. And his wife will also tell you, no, he did not know Frank Dux back then. And his wife will also tell you that I've seen him. I've been insulted in a bar by some guys, and Paco completely took that bar apart.
Yes,
beat the shit out of a bunch of guys, threw them out on the street. So you want to get some real scoop on Paco. Talk to his wife. She'd rather not talk about all the stuff, but she probably will if you really want to talk to her about it. But I'd say let's stop talking about Frank Dux. Okay, I'm tired of talking about this guy because he tells lies about me all the time. He tells lies about Bloodsport. Bloodsport came together. He says that he wrote this script. He wrote the first version of Bloodsport, which was called Return of the Ninja.
I registered under the title Return of the Ninja because it was a homage to my instructor, who is a ninja per se, okay, in the sense of how the word is used, not that it's a title.
Now, does that sound like it's about a tournament? Return of the Ninja? Oh, that's about a martial arts tournament. No, it's not. And the script does not exist. Okay, and if it exists, show it to us. Frank won't show this to anybody. He won't show us the script. He just makes stuff up. He makes stuff up about me, and I'm tired of it. He makes up lies about me all the time, let's see. Antonio Capolera. I think Sheldon just sold my point completely about Paco. Paco is a legend. That's why politicians love him like Master Frank. No, the politicians don't love Master Frank. Okay, Paco grew up with the sons and daughters of these politicians in Mexico. He's been friends with a lot of these people since the time he was a kid. I've met them. I've met all these people. They don't love him because he won the Kumite. They love him because they grew up with him and they like him. Okay, so yeah, Paco is a legend. Well, I think the movies have Lionheart and Only the Strong have helped make him a legend, okay, down there. And he still is, but it's not about, that's not why politicians love him like Master Frank. No, the politicians in Mexico do not love Master Frank, okay? Maybe there's one or two that know him from that dojo that this Francisco Diaz guy runs down there. But basically, no, that's not, I have not sold your point completely, Antonio. So Antonio, stop trying to bullshit the world about Frank Dux. Okay, Frank Dux is a fake. He's a phony. Here we are talking about him again. I don't want to talk about him, but basically you're kind of pushing me into talking about him because he's a phony who's never done any of this stuff. He's a phony who showed me a Medal of Honor, who told me he was a war hero, who told me that he fought in the Kumite and then gave the sword away to the pirates because the pirates were holding orphans hostage.
A story like that's got to be true.
It's all bullshit. And Antonio, if you're really believing it, then all I can say is you're very naive and very gullible. And basically people who believe Frank are either naive or gullible, or they just haven't heard both sides of the story. Okay? So I'm tired of having to defend myself against him. And Antonio, I wish you would just go home and find some other place to talk about your hero, Frank Dux, but don't talk to me about it because I know it's all bullshit. Would Sheldon ever do a film again with Frank? No.
Never, not in a million years. Not even if the money was there.
I don't think so. That's my first. That's my
your initial reaction, and then it's
okay.
like, well, let's see the money. Let's see the check. How big is that check?
Well, that would Frank would have to get a pretty big check too to do anything.
Yeah, both of you guys. So, what do you call it? Favored nations? You guys probably
favored nations, right? It ain't going to happen. But what I do, just about everybody else I've worked with in the past, I'd be happy to do a movie with them again. I would look, Jean-Claude, be happy to work with him again. With Mark Dacascos, and I get along great with all these people. Mm-hmm. And I've worked with so many co-writers. Most of my scripts are co-written with somebody because there's certain things I'm good at, certain things I'm not so good at. I'm not that great with dialogue, for example. Mm-hmm. So I've co-written scripts with many people. There's only one person who's ever raised some issues about this and said I was stealing credits. And that's Frank, okay? And Frank's really got no other credits except The Quest, which is something that I pretty much gave him, handed him on a silver platter. But you don't hear Boaz Yakin complaining about about me as a co-writer or Luis Esteban. There's a lot of co-writers out there, a lot of people that I've worked with. I like working with other writers. I wouldn't do it again with Frank. And we did actually write a few scripts together prior to Bloodsport, which were some pretty good scripts. But and if somebody wanted to buy one of those, I'd say, sure, fine. I'm sure Frank would say the same. But I wouldn't work with him again because he just made up so much bullshit about me that I'd have a hard time overcoming that and just pushing that in the background.
Yeah, maybe like a therapy session for a little while first to get everybody back comfortable again.
Oh, okay.
Oh, here
well,
we are.
Antonio's back. This has been a lot of fun the past couple of years. I agree, absolutely, and I love sparring with you, Antonio. Okay, so nobody's gotten knocked out yet, but basically, I just you seem like a smart guy based on your answers. So deep down, you've got to realize that all the stuff about the Kumite and the Medal of Honor is complete nonsense. But you'll wake up and smell the coffee one of these days. I'm guessing.
Santa Claus is not real. He's not real, bro.